Stop the press! Hi. Right, this video is going to end up being a series of videos because having gone through and started some of the editing process, which is what I'm actually in process of doing now, this first section, which is installing Windows and updating Windows, has actually ended up being like a 25-minute video. So by the time we've added the customization bits onto the end, it's going to be huge. I don't want to be uploading huge videos. I don't even know whether I can upload huge videos. So this video, although I'm going to say that it's lots of things, this is going to be part one of two, and this is just going to be the install of Windows and the install of the Windows updates, which is all fairly simple, straightforward stuff. So if you're happy doing that and you just want to get on with the more techie bits of running commands in PowerShell, then you probably want the next video after this one. Thanks. Hi everyone, Gareth at QC Tech here. Today we're going to do a quick video on how to create a Windows 10 image, how to sysprep that image, and then how to capture it using CloneZilla. So the rough outline is that we'll create the Windows 10 image, we'll run all the Windows updates, we'll then snapshot the file system. After we've snapshotted it, we will run sysprep, which is the tool that prepares the actual installation to be distributed out onto different hardware. We'll then shut the machine down and capture the image using CloneZilla. Now, the reason that we take a snapshot before running sysprep is that there is a limit. You can only run sysprep a certain number of times on any given installation. I think it's 5, but I don't remember off the top of my head. So if you take a snapshot before you run sysprep, what you can then do is revert that snapshot, and then if you want to make any further customizations, updates, things like that, you can do. You can then sysprep again, and as far as the system's concerned, that's the first time you've actually run it through. So that can be helpful. Now, I will just point out, obviously, at the moment, I'm working from home. We're in the middle of the COVID-19 stuff, so the server that I'm going to be running this on, the XCP-ng server that I have at home, is a little on the slow side. So there will definitely be some points where I just fast forward the video, and that's to save you guys having to wait for ages for things to happen. So yeah, so you will notice that during the video. I'm not going to draw attention to it every time. I'll just fast forward through. So we will be using a combination of XenOrchestra and XCP-ng Center. So Center is the Windows installed program for managing XCP-ng. I just find it easier to capture the video when you're trying to do the console. Using XCP-ng Center rather than trying to do it in XenOrchestra. If you don't know what any of that means, don't worry about it. It's fine. Just watch the video. I'm not going to go through how to create the virtual machine, how to make the ISOs available, any of that sort of stuff. That's out of scope for what we're talking about here. The VM that I've got, however, is 4 cores, 4 processor cores. It's got 4 gig of RAM and an 80 gigabyte hard drive. There's another 400 gig drive as well, which isn't currently attached. We'll attach that before running CloneZilla, and that's going to be the destination for the cloned disk. And the point of that is that we can detach that and we can then reattach it to other virtual machines if we want to, either to make more images or to restore the image to another virtual machine or to other hardware. Obviously, you could then copy that off to an external drive or to a network server, so that you can boot that, via whatever other means you want to. So yes, so we'll crack on. I will just switch the view over to here. So this is the image build, Windows 10, version 1909. You can see up the top there. We have a disk attached here, and we have the Windows 10 ISO down there. So again, if you just give me a couple of seconds whilst I'm just clicking around a few things, we will start this machine up, and then in a couple of seconds I will switch over, there we go, to the console of the machine as it's booting. This might be one of the points where we have to speed things up. Okay, so Windows setup has booted, so let's just have a quick look now what we've got going on over here. So we're in the UK here, so we're going to select the English United Kingdom options. Next, this is all pretty straightforward really. Install now. Again, It's going to take a minute. Okay, activate Windows key, Windows screen. We're going to click on the I don't have a product key option here. Particularly, we're doing this on a VM, so it's not going to automatically pick a license up from anywhere. But we're also not too concerned about it activating because we're only going to be using it for a very short period of time. It'll work absolutely fine for what we need to do. And then when we get it onto physical hardware, it will activate using the BIOS activation. We are picking Windows 10 Pro N. We are, well, I guess technically we're not in the EU anymore, so I'm not quite sure how that works. But the N version was the EU version. It doesn't come with a couple of bits of software bundled by default. So that is the version that we should be using. Although, as I say, I'm not 100% sure now that the UK is leaving the EU which one I should use. I'm going to go with N, just because that's what I've always used. So we're picking the Pro version because obviously we're doing this for businesses, so we want to have the business features available. And it will be going on to machines that are licensed for Pro. We're accepting the terms of the license agreement there. We're going to say custom, just because it gives us another couple of options. Next, I'm going to use the entire disk, and this is going to be another one of those fast forward moments. I'm just going to use this to draw attention to the fact that you may have noticed some sort of like lighting changes and things like that. Due to the whole working at home, having a wife and children going around all the time, I am recording this bit of the video the following morning from the last bit of the video. So yeah, that's likely to happen during this one because there'll be a lot of to-ing and fro-ing and dealing with children and that sort of stuff. So I will stop in between the fast forwards and might cut some bits of time out. I'll fast forward this bit now. Just thought it might be interesting to have a quick look at the logs or the stats coming out of XCP-ng whilst this was going on. Obviously, it takes ages to do this copying. The reason it takes ages is because the disk throughput is relatively low. We're copying from a mirror on it's a HP server, so it's on a mirror on two SATA disks on a HP server. Copying to, I think the main hard drive is on a RAID 5 array. So you know, we've got some inefficiencies there, and I did make a note of this somewhere. Yeah, the random 4K writes to this array are in the something like the 2.5 megasecond area, so pretty slow. Yeah, random reads 2.7, random writes 2.6, so slow. But yeah, so I just thought that was interesting to just to look at, you know, the CPU usage. You can see we're not getting anywhere near 100% usage on any of the cores, let alone all of them. The network throughput is, you know, 1.5K, nothing. Memory usage, I'm assuming that isn't reporting properly because it's going to be using more memory than that, but it's not going to be using 4 gig. So yeah, the obvious restriction on the VM here is going to be the disk I/O. Currently says we're getting 600 MIB bytes, I guess that is, MIB. I think that's probably lying. Anyway. Okay, so I've just missed a bit of a step there, but obviously Windows has just finished copying all the files across that it needed to. It has restarted the machine, so it's just in the process of booting up into the second part of setup. So yeah, again, we shall leave it a minute because it's going to take a little while for it to actually get to the next bit. Okay, and there we are. So we're at the excuse me, the start of the second phase of the installer. So again, we are in the UK, so we're selecting the United Kingdom. Seems like a sensible option. We're still in the UK, so we're selecting United Kingdom again. Don't want any additional keyboards. You'll notice at this point this is important setting up to do. Some of the setting up is just not important. This is important. Okay, now this is, we're going to set this up for personal use. Now you might be thinking, oh, I want to set this up for an organisation. If you say organisation, it's going to ask you to either join a domain or to log on using your Office 365 or Windows 365 as it's just been renamed credentials. We don't want to do that. We want a local user, so I'm going to say for personal use. Once you've run sysprep, it will then give you the option when you, on first boot, you get that option again. So at that point, if you want to join your Active Directory or you want to join Office 365, you can do. Sign in with Microsoft? No. We want an offline account. So we're down the bottom left-hand corner here. Oh, I've just realised that the next is hidden behind my head here. Sorry about that. I should probably... There we go. It's a better size. We have a standard account name that we use that's not administrator. And I'll create a really memorable password. I'm going to go with password1, as this is only a machine that we're doing for demo purposes. It will be deleted. Security question 1, password 1. I was born in, would you believe? I was born in password 1. And what did my friends call me at school? That's right, they all called me password 1, or Passy for short. They did. Right, do more across devices with activity history. No. Get help from your digital assistant. No. Do not use online speech recognition. Accept. No, we don't want that. Now, again, during setup, during image build, whilst we're doing this, I'm going to say no to this because, you know, this is a temporary machine. Essentially, it's not going to exist once we've sysprepped it and captured the image. So, no, we don't want to find my device at this point. If you are doing this using Windows 365, Microsoft 365, Office 365, Azure AD, whatever, then I would definitely go with turn that on. As I say, for now we're saying no. Basic diagnostics. No, we don't want to improve the language. No, we don't want tailored experiences. No, we don't want advertising IDs. Basically, we want this machine doing the smallest amount of telemetry we can get it to without having to jump through loads of hoops and change things in an underlying manner too much. Hi. They're getting everything ready for us, which is very generous of them. It might take several minutes. It will take several minutes. I'm going to go make a brew. Cheers. Okay, boys and girls, so there we are Windows installed. So the very first thing that I'm going to do now is I'm going to shut the machine down, and I'm going to take a snapshot of the system as it is, sort of as installed. Now, XCP-ng does allow you to do snapshots with memory, so in theory you can capture the actual live state. I feel happier and think it's safer doing the snapshot of the machine shut down. Just seems like a more sensible idea to me. So we'll wait for this to finish shutting down. While that's thinking about it, we'll just switch across to here. So we were on the disks. Obviously, we're in XCP-ng in XenOrchestra. Sorry. So you can see the icon up here has just gone to red to indicate that the system's halted. So we'll now go to snapshots, new snapshot, and there we are, done. Nice and simple. We can edit the name. I'm going to go with as installed and Windows 10 Pro N 1909 after initial install. Perfect. Start the machine up again. Okay, we are back up. We are logging in with my super secret high security password. Again, yeah, this is all fairly standard stuff at this point. The first thing that we're going to do over here is we're going to go to settings. We're going to scroll to the bottom and go to update and security. Might just try that again. And check for updates. This is another one of those. This is going to take a little while, so I'm going to leave that running. It's going to check. It's going to start downloading. It's going to install. We're going to restart a couple of times. I'll probably just fast forward the whole lot because really you don't need me telling you how to click through all of those things, do you? Do you? No. Okay. Not really sure whether this particular bit is interesting or not, but I'm going to just throw it in there anyway. If I just switch across onto my view of XenOrchestra, you can see here that actually the processor usage a few minutes ago on the actual virtual machine itself, it was at about 25% and it stayed there for a little while. There's four processors allocated to the VM. So being stuck at 25%, it was quite clear that actually it was using one processor as much as it thought it could, and not multitasking very well, so not multi-threading. But the CPU usage has been up and down all over the show. Again, never really been maxed out. Network throughput's been around, been some high points and some low points. It's still disk throughput that's slowing everything down by the looks of it. And as I suspected earlier, the memory usage is not coming through from the VM into Zen Orchestra or through to XCP-ng. Yes, if we just switch, you can see I loaded Task Manager up in the background. Processor is still seems to be maxing out at roughly 25%. So whatever it's doing is not using multi-threading. Memory's at 2.5 gig. Disk maxing out. So that's what's causing us problems. Sorry, I'll start fast forwarding again. That may or may not have been an interesting little interlude. Okay, so as you can see, we're now at the point where all of the updates have installed, and we are just sitting waiting for a restart. So I'll go ahead and press that button, and that'll restart, not surprisingly. Okay, and Windows is back up, so let's get logged in again. It appears to have reopened Task Manager for us. Very generous of it. And we're just going to head back over to settings again, because we never really believe that it's going to have done everything in one pass, do we? No. So we'll just double check again. Might have a nice surprise. It might have just done it all. You never know. And sorry about that. Just had my daughter running through, very excited to tell me that somebody somewhere has made a Wallace out of cheese. There was another update there. It was only a Defender update by the looks of it. So that's gone through. That's all good. So what we're going to do now is just once again, I'm going to shut down, take another snapshot of this. I'll probably eject the Windows installer disk whilst I'm doing that. And then we're ready to start doing some customizations. And yeah, we'll carry on from there. So shut down. Are you going to come and say hello?
No.
Just look at the camera and say hi.
Hi. Hey, look, it's me.
Yeah, got it.
Bye.
The perils of working from home. Okay, so that shut down again. We're going to head back across the snapshot. New snapshot. And with updates 2020 0421. Do you know what? I'm going to put that over here. Perfect. Right, so let's just go back over to here. So next plan is going to be to start the machine up again, we will clear out all of the modern apps that we don't need, whatever we call those now, all of the Microsoft Store apps that we don't need. We do want to leave a few in there. You do have to be careful. There are some scripts about that will go and remove everything. The problem is it also removes the Microsoft Store, which then means it's really difficult to get everything back again if you do want something. So, for example, the calculator app, the photo viewer app. There are a couple there that are useful that you do want, but you definitely don't want Candy Crush Bloody Saga. And from a business point of view, all the Xbox stuff, you just don't want that on there. So we will go through, we'll remove all of those apps. We will clear out the start menu, and we'll make the default start menu a nice clean one. We'll sort some other defaults out for things like the taskbar, a few other bits and bobs, set some backgrounds, that sort of thing. And then we'll, once we've got all of that done, again we'll do another snapshot, and then we'll run sysprep, and then we'll capture. So a few more little bits to do. We'll get on with that in a second or two. Okay, so as I said at the start of the video, I have split this up into two bits now. So this is part one, which is installing Windows and Windows updates. Part two is going to be adding additional programs, setting some customizations up, sysprepping and capturing. So see you in episode 2.